Hello and welcome to One Player. Today we are playing Heroes of Tenefyr. We are playing a quick mode game and an easy quick mode game. I haven't played quick mode yet, but it should give you an idea of how the mechanics work and without having to sit through all 10 dungeon slaughters that you play through in the regular mode. You may have seen my unboxing video of this, so you may be already familiar with some of the components here, but let's just run through what we're working with. We are looking at a deck builder, so we can see these as piles of cards we're going to add to our deck. They are, in fact, dungeons of various enemies, and they've been constructed 4 cards each out of a possible, I think there's 14 cards per level, so we've got a bit of variability for each game, which is nice. This quick mode, we're only facing 5 dungeons. Normally we'd be facing 10 plus a boss deck. With the quick mode we use 5, and then we use this, the hardest dungeon, the level 5 dungeon, as the boss deck. So as long as we beat that, then we beat the game. We have the boss track up here, so every time we leave a dungeon, if we leave it successfully of our own accord, we move this down by 1. Kind of like it's almost like time passing, I suppose, after each quest. If we leave it not of our own accord, i.e. if we get booted out from failing to defeat one of the enemies, we move it down by 2. And as you progress down here, as soon as you get to the skull at the end, then we have to face the boss deck no matter what. We have our 2 characters we've chosen, the cleric and the barbarian, and we have our card deck full of various, well, really just basic attack for now. We've got a lot of zeros in there, and then there's a couple of skill cards, one for each of our characters. I must have missed the barbarian. There she is. And I'll shuffle those. And then that's it. Let's get playing. I'll show you how a round works, and yeah, I think it makes sense to attack the number 1 dungeon first. We're going to face this goblin. Up here it'll tell you the level, or the amount of hit points this particular enemy has, and then once we beat them, we get to swivel it around, and we gain this card and put it into our discard pile. So every enemy we beat becomes a better card for our deck. So because we're playing solo, we get to use the 2-player numbers, so we only have to get 3 hit points on this one. And the way we do that, because we're playing solo, we play 2 players. We get to take 2 turns, and one turn looks like this. We take 3 cards, we flip them over. We can either choose to mulligan the cards, or we can play them. Well, we've picked up a skill card, so I think we'll probably keep them. And this barbarian skill card allows us to draw 3 extra cards. So this is our first turn, and we've got, hopefully, a pretty good chance of beating that goblin, which we do. So if we were to need more hit points, we could then take a second turn. But now, because we have enough, we've got 1, 2, 3 to defeat the goblin. We can do that. We'll place it in the discard, and we don't need to use the other cards for the cleric, or the second player, I guess. I'll put these in a discard down here, and then we can either choose to now leave the dungeon, replenish our deck, so essentially shuffle our discard pile back into our deck, or we can carry on. We've still got plenty of cards left. So there's an element of kind of push your luck as you get down to the ends of your deck. A little bit of card counting, a little bit of push your luck to see if you can, or to see if you've even got enough points or hit points to defeat the enemies you're facing. Let's go ahead and try and defeat this fellow. This is a cowardly goblin. At the start of the combat, if you're in a level 1 dungeon, put this card at the bottom of a level 2 dungeon of your choice. Well, that's a gimme. Let's carry on here. The Kobold Trickster. At the start of the combat, the starting player shuffles 2 basic 0 cards from their discard pile into their deck. Well, that is a real shame. But he only needs 2 hit points to destroy, so I think we'll probably be okay there. So let's start our turn, or let's start the combat phase, I guess you could call it. We've got the cleric. If you're the cleric, each other player may shuffle up to 2 cards of their choice from their discard pile into their deck. Alright, well that's pretty cool, because then we'll reclaim the barbarian skill, and we'll get this slash card, I guess, and then we'll shuffle those back in there. And then we've got 1 hit point total, so we're going to have to go to the second turn, or the second player, and we're going to pull 3 other cards, and we have got a total of 3 hit points. So we're going to destroy this fellow here and gain this. Remove a card of your choice from your discard pile. That's a nice card. We just get rid of some of those basic zeros, kind of like the Friday-esque mechanic where you just literally get to take the card out of the game. Let's carry on. We're having a pretty good time. Bandit. The starting player draws 1 less card during their draw step. Okay, so we're going to take 2 to destroy this bandit. And we scored 1, so that's probably worth keeping. And then let's see what the second player gets. We need him to get 3. So we need him to get 2 more hit points, and we don't. So we can mulligan these, and we can keep mulliganing until we get what we want. Oof. Oh boy. Oh gosh. And hopefully, so we can see we're running out of cards. The lucky thing is, this is the last enemy in this dungeon, so hopefully we're gonna be able to leave the dungeon successful and then replenish our deck or rest. There we go. Okay, so we've got 2 hit points there for a total of 3, and the bandit is defeated. So those will go into our discard pile. We've exited that dungeon because we've beat it. We then get this reward, and we move the boss track down by 1. Now this says we get to take 2 level 3 dungeon cards from the reserve. So, and I believe these have to be at random. I don't think we can pick and choose, which makes sense. So let's grab the 3s here, and we'll shuffle them up. And let's take 2 of them, and we get a stomp and insight. Okay. Right, we're going to rest. Oh, and here we go. Let's see what we've got here is our reward. So we get to choose. We may put up to 3 basic cards of your choice from your deck into your discard pile. So that essentially allows us to be probably slightly more powerful next turn. Or you may remove 1 card of your choice from your deck and put 1 basic card of your choice. So we get to get rid of 1 permanently, which I think I feel better about. So let's get rid of a basic 0. And then we'll put a basic 0 in our discards. That one we're down 2 to start this level 2 dungeon. Now I need to be making 7 hit points. So the enemy gets 1. This enemy gets -1 power for each basic 0 card in each discard pile. So that's nice. We've already given him -1. So he's actually a 6. Well, let's see how we do. Worth keeping for the starting player? Yeah, maybe 2 and 3. That's a shame because, well, no, it's not. The cleric skill actually isn't helpful at all here because we don't have anything good in our discard pile. So let's just mulligan those, and we need to get a score of 4. So we're gonna have to. I think we've only got like one card in there of a score that's more than 1, or hit points more than 1. Here we go. So that's 2. Oh, shoot. And is this a good one? No. I think we might get kicked out of this dungeon on our first enemy. I think that means it's probably worth just keeping going. 3. So what do we need? I only need... Oh, that's... Okay, I only need 1 more. Yes, that's perfect. And the Barbarian skill, which is completely unnecessary at this point, so that kind of sucks. So because we got -1 power for each... Well, hold on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know about that. As I was adding basic 0s to my discard pile, does that mean the Rotworm's power keeps going down? So the more you discard, the more you mulligan, the worse it gets? Because I literally have discarded enough just to not draw any cards at all. Well, I don't know. The rules do not say anything about that, so that's a question for the gallery. All right. Well, we have gained 6, and because we started with -1, I think that's fair to say that we've got him. We've taken him out there. So we've gained the comeback power +3 power if you've got 3 or more basic 0s in your discard. That's nice. I have used all my best cards. I've lost the 3 and I've lost the 2. So I don't think I've got anything else good in here, which makes me a bit worried for the next enemy, but you know what? Let's just go for it and see what happens. Raging Orc. At the start of the combat, each player discards the top 2 cards from their deck. Okay, and they weren't so good, so that's, I guess, okay. And we only need to get 4 hits on him. Alright, well that's halfway there, so I think we will keep that first player hand. And then let's see about this one. Oof, look at that. So we'll take that. We'll gain 1 extra card. If you're the Barbarian, you may draw 3 extra cards. That's a really nice card to put into our deck. So you see the kind of the synergy starting already, the deck building aspect of this, where, you know, based on our characters, we get certain benefits. And that's kind of neat. I mean, right now my deck still feels pretty useless, to be honest, but because we're going pretty slow and only working through the ranks, you know, there's still... Yeah, we're not doing so bad. So we've only got 3 cards left, so this will be a good time to decide to retire from this dungeon and replenish our deck. So we are going to move this on 1. Now we get to pull 3 cards from the 1 reserves. So here's the 1s. So let's shuffle these up, and we're going to gain 3 cards. 2, 3... Let's see what we win. Double the power of one of your cards. That's nice. Choose one card from your discard pile, put it in your hand. That's pretty good too. And then put in your discard, draw an extra card. Alright. Feel pretty good about those. So we're going to shuffle our deck. And then we're going to reveal the next enemy in this dungeon. And we are going to... Well, I suppose we do have a choice. We could attack another dungeon. We could choose to go into another one. I think in quick mode, I don't think there's any point to do that. In the normal mode, like, you really have to... I think you kind of flit around a little bit. You know, you can beat a 1 and then you can go to a 4. Then you can go to, you know, just depending on the cards you have. And the enemies that are present, maybe the cards that you want. You know, there's more choices of cards available in the normal mode because you've got 10 dungeons rather than just the 5. I think here it probably just makes sense to try and, you know, we really want all the cards we can get before we hit the boss deck. So, yeah, let's carry on here. Let's go back into the level 2 dungeon. Here we've got to score 3 hit points against this Goblin Scout. Oh, well, there you go. If you're the starting player, you may draw 1 extra card, but we don't really need to because we just scored 4. So you are done. If you continue in this dungeon, the next enemy in this dungeon gets 1 power. That's fine. Or plus 1 power, I should say, not 1. And that is a golem, so they're up to 7. During each player's play step, may draw 2 extra cards and then discard 1 of their choice from their hand. That's very generous of you. So we're trying to score 7 hit points on this one. So let's see what we get. If you're the Barbarian, you may draw 3 extra cards. So why don't we do that first? 1, 2, 3. And the Cleric, which is nice. Okay, now things are getting confusing. So we don't get the comeback skill because we don't have 3 basic 0s in our hand, but I would like to take these 2 using the Cleric skill and shuffle them back into our deck. So we've used our Barbarian skill, we've used our Cleric skill, and now we can use the Golem text there to draw 2 extra cards and then discard 1 of them. So... tricky decisions, but I think it'll be this one. Put that down there. So what have we scored so far? 1, 2, 3. So our second player or our second turn needs to contribute 4 hit points to this, which, all right, that's a pretty good start. So I'm not going to mulligan that. I'm going to take 2 and hope that one of them is a 1. And it is. That's brilliant. So we can get rid of this one thanks to the Golem's text, we can add this to there and beat the golem, and we pick up a headbutt. So there you go. Do we go for the last enemy? We've got, yeah, I think we've got a fair amount of cards left, and I think decent ones left, especially because we should get to shuffle. We got to shuffle that those 2 cards back in thanks to the cleric. Oh, it's the I forgot about this guy, Cowardly Goblin. So we only need to get 3 hit points to get him. So I don't think that will be a problem. Ooh, remove a card of your choice from your discard pile. Get rid of another basic 0, I think. Remove, and we will get rid of that from the game for good. And we only need 1 more hit point from our second turn, which we... There we go. If you continue in this dungeon, the next enemy gets -2 power. Well, that doesn't do anything for us. And we may draw an extra 3 cards for the barbarian. Well, that doesn't do anything for us either. But we have destroyed the goblin. If you lose this combat, advance the boss token 1 step instead of 2. Right, well, we beat level 2. We exit the dungeon, move the boss along. We get 3 cards from the level 2 reserve. Oops. Would help if they're all face down. I'll retrieve that one. How many do we get? 3. Okay. We've got ourselves +2 power against the boss. That's pretty good. A smash and some slime. And then we also get... Take the top card from one dungeon and place it at the bottom of any other dungeon. Okay, it's not really that helpful. Each player may remove 1 card of their choice and give 1 card of their choice from the deck to another player. Now here's another question for the rules gallery. It says each player. Well, because I'm playing as 2 people, I'm taking 2 turns. Does that mean I get to choose 2 cards, or does it mean I get to only choose 1 because I am still technically 1 player? I'll play the 1 because that seems, fair because it's a questionable rule, but need some clarity on the solo play, I think. Right, we're motoring along. We're about halfway through, right? Halfway through here, I should say. Halfway through the boss track. And maybe it's time to jump onto level 4. The reason I say that is, 1, I like this card more than that. And 2, if we get kicked out of a level 4, we'll only have 1 chance to get... Or if we get kicked out of the level 3, we'll only have 1 chance to get the level 4, which... Let's go for level 4. That wasn't a good hand. I'm going to mulligan it. We need to get 10. So we really need some of those top cards. Those really good cards. Okay, let's go with it. Oh, shoot. Maybe this isn't good. Oh my god, that's terrible. So we don't have 3 basic zeros, so we don't get the +3 benefit. And we've literally drawn 6 cards and scored 2 hit points. So that's rubbish. So we need to get 8 here, which I actually don't think is even possible. You may search your deck for 1 card and put it in your discard pile. You may draw an extra card. I mean, I guess if you're starting play, you may draw another card. Well, that's not me, and I've scored 5. So maybe going for the level 4 dungeon wasn't a good idea, because I've just got kicked out on the first boss, or on the first creature. So dink, dink like that. I do get to take... The good news is I do get to still take 2 3s and 2 4s. The bad news is that was an embarrassing failure against a giant platypus. So here's the 4s. So 2 of these as well. Shuffle up to 2 basic 1 cards from your discard pile into your deck. All your basic 1 cards if you're the barbarian. I am the barbarian. If you are the bard, well, that's not me, so that's kind of a useless card. And this card's power is equal to the level of the current dungeon, which is nice, because we're only really facing level 4s or 5s probably. So we've got a pretty sizable deck. Not that that helped us last time, because I should have probably mulliganed that first round. Even though it had the barbarian skill in it, it wasn't good at all. Okay, now the question becomes, do we retreat and head for the level 3 dungeon, or do we take our newly minted 3 and 4 cards and go right back to the level 4? maybe this is pride, and maybe it will come before the fall. But I think we've got to take on that giant platypus again. We've come back stronger and wiser from our first encounter. Still got to make 10 hit points, so that's a pretty big total, but doing it. See, look at that. +2. Oh no, that's up against the boss. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we only need to pull 4 on our second turn, and I think that is doable. Mulligan those. 1. Oh, there you go. Look at that. I told you that card was good. This card's power is equal to the level of the current dungeon, so that's a 4 plus 6. We just hit him for 12. Bam. Giant platypus down and out. Perfect. Skillful parry. Take that. Next card. Definitely next card. Lesser Demon. At the start of combat, each player shuffles all basic zeros from their discard into their deck. I think there's only one. That's great. I will be happy to shuffle that in there. Oh, this is the card with the rewards for the bard. That's rubbish, but if we leave to go fight the werewolf instead, then the boss is there, so we can't go back into the non-boss dungeon. So let's get him. So we're looking for hit points of 9. We've pulled 5. I may draw 1 extra card and then discard 1 card of your choice from your hand. If you continue in this dungeon, the next enemy gets -2 power, so that's nice. So we'll draw 2 cards and then get rid of 1 of them. Well, don't mind if I do. If you're the barbarian, you get to shuffle all your basic 1 cards back into your deck. Yeah, I was going to say back into your hand would be very nice. 1. So we've got two of those, which I guess is worth it, maybe. And so our second turn, we need to score, what, 3? Oh yeah, come on, we got this. 1, 2, 3. +3 power if you've got 3 or more basic 1 cards. Oh, we just shuffled them all back, so that's not going to help. But we do have enough to beat the Lesser Demon and win the Inspiring Tune, which at least gives us 3 hit points, so not all bad. Okay, let's carry on, because why not? What is that? A chomping chest. At the start of combat, the starting player discards the top card of their deck. If it's a basic 0 card, that player skips the turn. Oof, that's actually pretty tough. It's not, so that's good. So the starting player will take another 2. So I need to score 5. I have a total of 0 here. I can draw an extra card if I choose to keep these cards, of course. And I can use the cleric skill to maybe put something good back. Like that. And this. But then what are the chances they'll end up at the top and be able to help me defeat the chomping chest anyway? I suppose the counter to that is that maybe we just draw through the deck until we do get these. Then we might not have enough to beat the actual dungeon itself. Well, let's do it. Let's draw the extra card. It's a 1. Maybe I should have shuffled these back into there first. I don't know. All right. Anyway, so then we'll shuffle these back into the deck, and then we'll take our second turn. We need to score 4 hit points. Double the power of one of your cards. Is that enough to do it? No, it's not, because that would be 2, 3, 4. I need 5, so I have to mulligan those. Oh, well, there you go. We've got that Inspiring Tune. Remove a card of your choice from your discard pile. This has actually been a quite helpful card. Get rid of another 0, I think, if we've got one. Yeah. Look at that. We beat the chomping chest. The chomping chest. Okay, break, as I sometimes do in these videos, to discuss artwork. Maybe it's just me, but it looks like this was drawn by a different person than this. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't know, it's like the theme is like sometimes put into question. Does that make sense? Like it doesn't seem as cohesive as maybe it could be. Like again, like this, it's like super cartoony. Like super cartoony, like big thick lines, which is really cool. But then this guy looks like he's meant to be like, you know, a tad more realistic. I don't know, it kind of, I think you've got to choose. I think you've got to choose one or the other, if I'm honest. Yeah, like, look, these guys don't exist in the same universe, do they? Anyway, that's just me. I'm being nitpicky, probably. I think that's being nitpicky. I also, let's just go all the way down. Let's just nitpick the crap out of this. I don't. Obviously, like, there's only so much that you can do on a card, and there's a lot of text. And I think the two-sided card idea is actually really good. I like that it's very obvious which side is which, so you never get confused. I don't get along with this like kind of two-color brick texture in the background on every card, even though they're different colors. I just feel like, I don't know, full art card. I mean, it's asking a lot. And to be honest, this is a $19 card game, a $19 Kickstarter, which I think, for the amount of replayability there is, and the amount of like the different ways you can play it, and the different characters, all the different dungeon cards, there's lots. And I should have mentioned that there's probably 4, I think, of these each to choose from. So there's all the different rewards for each dungeon. You're never going to play the same game twice. It's always going to be a bit of a variant. So I think maybe I'm being a bit nitpicky. I'm being a bit harsh, but I would like it if the art was just like, if it looked a bit more complete. I really like these, and there's obviously like I talked about this in the unboxing. This painting, this piece of artwork is grand, and it's on the box, and it's on the cards, and it's on the back of the cards, and it's fantastic. I wish that like even with the hero cards, they're against this kind of like brick background. I just want to see the barbarian like in some mad battle scene. I don't know, it was a bit optimistic. All right, I think we did beat the chomping chest, so we're going to take that and put it into our discard, and let's just keep going. The Dark Elf Spy. At the start of the combat, the starting player discards cards from the top of their deck until they discard a basic 1 card. Oof. Ha! Ha ha! Take that. Take that. No discards for me. Now we need to make 7 hit points on this person, and then we're going to be able to move on to the boss. 3? Yeah, I'll keep 3. That's pretty decent. Now we need to make 4 on our second hand turn. Oh, yes, look at that. 2, 3, and if we're the barbarian, we get to draw 3 extra cards. So we need 1, which we just got. Note, with a lot of deck builders, or I'm thinking of... I'm going to mention Friday again. I'm thinking of Friday where you get to choose, and it's kind of a tactical choice whether you pull all 3 cards, whether you pull up to 3 cards. This, you draw 3 cards. You don't draw 1, 2, or 3. So it doesn't give you that choice, which is fine. I think it makes it harder, I think, probably. Choose 1 card from your discard pile and put it into your hand. Well, that doesn't really matter, but we did get this 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the Dark Elf Spy is defeated. Okay. We beat this. Oh, well, here we move our boss token down. We get to pick a 5 card. So let's do that before we look at the reward. Let's see what we get. I hope it's something good. I hope it's something that either involves the barbarian or the cleric having some sort of special ability. Death Strike. If you are the thief, damn it! You may discard this card to draw 1 extra card. If you're the thief, this card gets +4 power, but only during your turn. Okay, so this is kind of a bust on the level 5 dungeon front, but that's okay. And we are going to face the boss. Oh, I forgot about this. Check out the reward card. In the next combat, all players may ignore the text on the enemy card. Sounds good, because once we face that level 5 dungeon, you know there's going to be some crazy ass stuff in there. Let's just clear out. Not gonna need these anymore. All we gotta concentrate on is this. I guess we don't really care about the reward either, because the reward is winning. So here we are. Here's the dungeon. This enemy gains power equal to twice the starting player's total power. Except that we get to ignore that entirely. So he literally has 4 hit points. That's like a level 1 enemy. And let's see what we get. We got 5. Dark Mage, you're down, dude. You're out. We do have to beat this without retreating, though, so we can't shuffle these back into here unless, obviously, we get a card that says so. Armored Minotaur. Each basic 1 card gets -1 power, and we need to do 10 damage. That's pretty hefty. Let's see. All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Do we have 3 more basic 0 cards? No, we do not. But that's still a pretty good hand. That's 6. We need to get 4 with our second turn. I think we can do that. Oh. Oh, I like this. This is a good hand too, although I can draw 1 extra card and then discard 1 card of your choice and draw an extra card from this. Is it worth drawing 2 extra cards and getting rid of my cleric? It's kind of just the same as mulliganing, except, well, no, that's not necessarily true. You may search your deck for 1 card and put it in your discard pile. So I could search for a 0, put that on my discard, so I knew there was lesser chance of getting something bad, like that one. Oh, I would have got one in the top, so that is actually pretty good. So we'll shuffle this. I've got to play that now, I suppose. And I can get to draw an extra card once I've shuffled, because I can do these in any order. So say the rules. And I may draw 1 extra card and then discard 1 card of your choice from your hand. So I'm drawing an extra card from my ponder here, which is a 1. That's not good because this it doesn't get now it's a 0. And I get to pull 1 card of my choice here. Or sorry, 1 extra card here, which is a 1. Ooh, I think maybe I made the wrong choice because I just got defeated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we needed a 10. Well, just like that. That was the wrong decision. I should have mulliganed. Got rid of, don't care about my cleric. Got rid of my golem. Got rid of my ponder, and just pulled 3 new cards. Although we know that one of them would have been a 0, so who knows? Maybe I wouldn't have got lucky either way. Well, let's see what else we would have faced. We would have faced this Minotaur, this Giant for another 10, and another Armored Minotaur for another 10. Dang. Well, that's it. Falling at the final hurdle, I guess. I feel like there's enough. I have enough in here to probably do that much damage, but maybe not. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against the boss. 5, yeah, maybe. Well, there you go. That's the end of the game. So we lose quick mode. We lose quick easy mode. We've got 3 bosses remaining, and we really didn't get that far through the last dungeon. Only 1 enemy down. Well, there you go. That's it. You win or lose. And this time we lost. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to drop a like or a comment or a subscribe if you would like to see more content such as this, many more solo gameplays to come. And let me know what you think. How do you like Heroes of Tenefyr? Will you go seek it out? $19 again for this kind of depth of game. I think is actually really good, and comes in a nice box, plenty of room for expansions, which, you know, I'm just putting it out there. It looks like there's lots of room for expansion cards in the box, so maybe that's a thing that's on the horizon. Yeah, that's it from me. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you later.